Welcome back to Same But Different. My name's Derek, and over here we have my co-host and brother, Brody, and we are here to review Insidious, The Red Door. In a world of unnecessary sequels, does this movie pass the test, I wonder? Tiptoe through the window with us and find out. Tiptoe.
That's actually like a solid impression.
Let's hop right into the reviews. Let's get into spooky season. It's September, I know, but September 1st, spooky season starts for me. So I'm happy to do this.
Insidious, the 5th chapter in this franchise, is absolutely a good entry. The umbrella for my review. It's a good entry to a horror franchise. You know, by the 5th movie in a franchise like this, it's rare that a movie can still hold a candle to its roots, to the first movie in the franchise. I think this one did a perfectly fine job of doing that. I can only hope that this is the conclusion to this franchise. There's not really more of a story to tell.
I don't want any more.
There wasn't much story to tell after the last one, and they managed to make this work. It was a relatively impressive plot. It connected all the movies in the twisty-turny, further way that the Insidious franchise always has. Not that I want more, but I hope that if they do more, they keep being smart about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
This movie wasn't a masterpiece by any means, and I do consider the first Insidious a masterpiece. I think it's one of my favorite horror movies ever. I also found a lot of the jump scares in this one to be tacky and cliche, opposed to the originality of the first couple, where those, like, some of the jump scares in the first movie were life-changing. Like, I'd never seen anything like it before. There were a couple in this one that did a good job, but more than often I found that they were just cheap thrills.
Do you think we've just become desensitized at this point? Like, we go into an Insidious Chapter 5 movie knowing what to expect.
And they did it once or twice, like the whole memory match thing. You know, I kept expecting the face to just show up when he lifted one of them, but instead it cut away and then the person just jumped through the window. That was that was Insidious 1 level. It didn't make me jump, but it was creative, so I give them that. I think Patrick Wilson did a really good job capturing the essence of what this franchise is. I also feel, and see if you can get on board with me, because I don't really know how to explain this, I feel like this movie was less fun. The first one had some fun along the way. Like the second act of the first movie, it literally felt like a funhouse horror haunted house sort of thing. And aside from maybe the vomit scene in this one, but vomit scenes are always like, why are you adding that in? That was the only time where this movie seemed to have a little fun with its horror. And I don't know. I
think Patrick Wilson tried to toe the line between supernatural horror and trauma horror. Leaned too much into the trauma horror, family issues, and the horror that can come from that. And it translated weird into what should have been a fun horror ride.
Right.
No, I agree.
I unfortunately don't think Ty Simpkins grew up to be a very good actor. He had some scenes that were okay, but I think overall he kind of just Timothée Chalamet his way through this role with like one note of being a depressed teenager. And he also looked like Patrick Fugit, which was distracting to me.
I had high hopes for him because he was in The Whale, and he did a pretty good job in The Whale.
But honestly, Foster, his brother, grew up to be a way worse actor, so it's okay.
In comparison, I know. And you could tell they knew that, too, the amount of screen time he got.
Yes. These are my 3 major gripes. 1 was Ty Simpkins acting. 2, the script felt so unnatural sometimes. My biggest example is when he's on the phone with Foster, and he says, "What is it, little brother?" Ugh.
Oh, yeah, Victoria and I laughed at that.
It is my biggest pet peeve in media. Nobody says that. I've never once referred to you as Big Brother. It's not even like they did it for exposition. We already know that. It was an absolutely pointless line. There were a few others, but that one's the one that really rings true for how kind of just, I don't know, unnatural the script felt sometimes.
Yeah, I'm going to touch upon this a little bit in my review, but it's almost like Patrick Wilson and everyone involved in this movie, like the plot, they treated their audience like they forgot the events of the first movies.
It gave us a lot of flashbacks that if you're a fan of the franchise, you did not need them. My biggest gripe, I think, I am comparing it to the first movie, so it's a little bit unfair to some degree, but I wish it was split into 2 acts the way the first movie was. I wish that they reunited sooner. I feel like them being separate this whole movie really cheated us out of the heart that we could have had. It wasn't until the climax of the film where they were kind of working together. It's not a bad movie. It's a good time if you like the Insidious movies. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but it was not bad. And it was an impressive enough sequel to give it 6 red doors out of 10. Being that, keep in mind, the first one's probably a solid 9, so this is quite a big step down, but it was enjoyable enough to be better than average.
I think you were a little more generous to this movie than I was. I liked being back in the world of Insidious. I liked being back with this family, being back with the further. In the world of Insidious is so cool, because Insidious 1 and 2, very monumental to us as horror fans. I liked several of the techniques they used. You mentioned the memory match scene. That was really cool. They often used the out of focus technique. Like right at the beginning when Patrick Wilson was in the car after the funeral and there was like this random human in the background walking towards him.
Yeah, the anti-scare.
Out of focus. I really liked the use of that. That gives me a creep factor. That gives me... I'm not necessarily scared. I'm just like, ooh, what's going to happen? I love the Darth Maul demon.
Always have. Always have. I remember when we saw it, and I don't know if we saw it together, but people laughed at his face the first time. And I'm like, that was one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen.
I'm surprised I haven't seen more of that monster on like merchandise and stuff like that.
Fair.
And yeah, Patrick Wilson is a delight every time, acting or directing. I think he did a fine job. Like you said, I think he captured what Insidious is, like the feel. You know, I felt like I was watching an Insidious movie. My gripes, unfortunately, I don't want to say outweigh the likes, but they're big.
Uh-oh.
I think we were robbed of character growth. We get the first one and we get the second one, and this family goes through traumatic experiences. And then at the end of the second one, they're made to forget about all their experiences. So we, as an audience, are robbed of how this family could possibly grow from that shared experience together because they don't remember it. I think it's a much more interesting story to have gone through something and then grow and adapt and learn and cope with what you just went through instead of forgetting it all.
What if like the end of Act 1 is when they finally remembered everything and then Act 2 is them working together?
That would have been much better, which leads into my second major gripe. The entire movie is just about showing us things we already know. Like I said, the movie treated us as if we had forgotten the events of the first and second movie. Every big reveal that happened in this film was something that we already knew. Like when he discovered Elise talking about the further, it was like this big moment for Ty Simpkins' character. And we know that stuff. When it was a reveal that he was painting his dad with the hammer, we knew that already.
Yep.
The whole movie relied on the fact that we forgot. There was nothing new that this movie offered. Every major plot point in this movie was hearkening back to something we already blatantly knew from the first two movies.
Right.
That to me makes this sequel entirely irrelevant.
Oh no.
At the end of the second one, a good ending is to have characters forget what happened. Cool. End the franchise, don't come back to it. But to make a movie to be like, let's make them remember again. Like, why? And I wasn't scared. Definitely nothing even close to what the first and second movie evoked in me. I dare say that this could have used more jump scares. 4 out of 10 red doors.
Whoa.
4 out of 10 red doors.
I called it. I called 5 at the beginning. I wrote it down on a sticky note, and then I crossed it out while you were talking and wrote 4.
Sorry, Patrick Wilson. I hope you get something cool in the future to direct because this wasn't it.
He'll probably do the next Conjuring movie.
Audience, what did you think of Insidious The Red Door? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your opinions. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Where does it stand in all the Insidious movies? Let's be done with that spookiness for now, because October is spooky season. Don't forget that. We'll never forget it. But we got to pick our movie for next week. So, Brody, time to pull out the Hat of Destiny.
Oh. All right. Okay.
What are we watching for next week?
We are watching Talk to Me.
Talk to me?
Talk to me. Tell me your name.
Wait. So we're not done with spooky season.
No, and I'm very, very excited for this one.
Yes, we're not done with spooky season. This is regarded as one of the best horror movies in the past little while.
And it's made by YouTubers. Talk to Me. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces.
So come on back next week when we discuss Talk to Me. Make sure you watch the movie so you can tell us your opinion on it as well. Brody, it's been fun as always.
Always.
Thanks for talking to me.
Oh!
We will see you all next week on Same But Different. Keep it spooky. Love you.
Adios, muchachos. I don't know.